Well, welcome to McGuire's. Appreciate y'all coming out here. My name is Mike Stoops. I am the Senior Global Product and Training Specialist here at McGuire's. Appreciate you guys coming out here. I'm sure you're going to have some good information from Jimbo and Pete today. Have fun. Don't be afraid to ask them questions. I'm sure they're open for that. Did I just set you up for something you didn't want me to set you up? Yeah, no, yeah. Ask them lots of questions. Ask them lots of questions. But appreciate you guys coming out, and it's good to see some faces that I know. I'm actually kind of impressed that you're here today, Marvin. That's cool. Good for you, man. Yeah, good for you. That's good. That's good. I've known him since you didn't know what a cleaner wax was, and I say that with love and affection because I know a couple of like crazy skilled detailers that are really well known, and I knew them before they were anybody. And I can actually remember questions on the forum of, so what exactly do you use a cleaner wax for? And I'll look back on some of these things from a dozen years ago, and I look at what that guy's doing today. I'm like, wow, it's kind of amazing and it puts it into perspective because you see guys on Facebook and on forums that are like digging on people for not knowing stuff. Were you guys all born with a complete knowledge of detailing? You were all experts when you were 3? I don't think so. All right, so be a little tolerant of people that are just getting started and don't know what you know yet, and help them out. This is a great community. I've met some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life through this business, and it's great stuff. So that's enough for me. I'm going to pass it off to, I guess, no, and they're pointing fingers at each other. Great, this is going to be a fun day. Right.
Anyway, I'm Jimbo, host of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. It's cool to meet you guys face to face, and thanks for traveling out from wherever you came. That's cool. I know you guys are from around here, but still an hour or two away, so I appreciate that as well. The info today, I've never introed an event, Pete, so I don't really... I
can tell, so can they. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I usually just intro the show, and you know how that goes.
Welcome to the Auto Detailing Podcast.
But no, honestly, I was really concerned with making sure that it was worth your guys' time and money to come here and learn this stuff today. And after we started going over this info, it's going to be game-changing for you guys. And if you have taken one-on-one training, I was talking to Claude about this earlier, if you have taken one-on-one hands-on training, the business stuff that you're going to learn today is going to make that value, oh, I do, even more valuable.
We're doing sign language. It's cool.
That's nice. Yeah. It's going to make that hands-on training that you learned even more valuable. So the stuff you're going to learn today is seriously killer stuff. And this is Pete, and he didn't wear a sport coat. I'm done with that one. Yeah. I've said it like 5 times today, and it totally flopped. Or shorts. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah,
and I was going to wear shorts because I'm like, I hate jeans, and I feel like my legs are claustrophobic, but it looks a little nicer.
We're happy that you wore pants. We're just going to leave it at that.
I got a spray tan and everything, and then...
What we want to do to get started, we want to make sure that we're delivering to you guys exactly what you need. So we want to go around and find out a little bit about your business, where you're at, location, things like that. So we've got this great wireless mic.
It's a little sweaty.
Not because of me. Just going to throw that out there. Yeah. So if you have a question throughout the day or as we go around here this morning, speak into the mic because we want to make sure we get a good audio of this, and we'll make sure all of you get a copy of this. If you want a copy of it, you can just let us know afterwards.
And we want it to be interactive. So chime in at any time. Just raise your hand, shout out. We want it to be like relaxed, not super tight. We want to make this a family, friends event. No question's a stupid question except for the ones that Pete asked. I'm bombing today, Pete. This is not good. This is not a good start.
This is why you need to edit on your podcast.
Yeah. Debatable. So
go ahead and start right over here. Let us know who you are. What's that?
I said take it away.
Yeah, who you are, where you're from, and what your core business is in detailing. Like, are you doing the wash and the wax? Are you doing coatings? You have a fix shop, mobile shop, stuff like that?
My name is Dan Smith. I live in Colorado. I would say I have a mobile business, owner, operator, one guy. I'd say my target market are second homeowners. I live in a resort town, so people fly in, they do their deal, and then they fly out. And then a property manager will call me and say, hey, Dan, come in and clean these cars. It's really easy. It's great. It's where I want to be.
Mm.
I do a lot of other stuff too, but that is what I'm looking for. That's my target market.
Okay,
Is that
great.
what you're looking for?
Yes, exactly.
That was cool.
Okay.
That's perfect.
My name is Steven Erickson. I own and operate Excel Auto Detailing and Finishing. I'm in the Santa Barbara area, so I'm not too far away. I think what I'm interested in learning about today is some of the methods to get more reoccurring business, like on a scheduled basis. Some of the questions I have in regards to that is how we work around the weather, whether we make a rain check or some sort of thing like that. What the first initial service should be, whether it be a full detail and then regular reoccurring mini details or maintenance washes, etc. Do we discount our services if they have multiple vehicles? How we go about scheduling, electronic or written type schedule, and billing. And I am interested in getting into the coatings aspect of things because obviously there's lots of benefits and room for profit there. So I guess that's pretty much a wrap of what I'm interested in learning about today.
And your
Google
business
AdWords
is
has
mobile
been
or
great.
fixed shop?
I am mobile primarily, but I'd actually like to have the option of both. So I have a nice fixed location to do coatings and paint correction.
Currently got that. Or you would like to get
Working on it.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Those are some good questions.
We're not going to answer any of that. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
great that you brought this. I'm just kidding.
So everybody, my name is Matt Wasuskas. I own Premier Detail in Riverside, California. It's about a half hour from here. I'm mobile. Been doing it since 2011, part-time. And beginning of this year, I just went full-time. What I really want from this class is just getting recurring customers, getting them coming back, not just doing the car once and kind of forgetting about them. And just how to market my business, get my name out there more. Do it on Facebook here and there on some of the Facebook groups. But I notice most of those people on there sometimes are just price shoppers. So, and mainly I do, washes, paint correction. I want to get into the coatings. I did my truck. Makes it a lot easier to wash. So it's definitely nice.
How many of you like price shoppers? No? No one? No one? Okay. All right.
Still early, man.
I was going to give them some ideas on how to really, go $5. You get them all.
All right, my name is Anthony Abood, and I own Smartwash Detailing in Seattle. And I'm a full auto reconditioning, so I do everything from detailing to bumper repairs. And I'm here to save money in marketing because I spend too much, way too much.
What kind of marketing are you doing right now?
I use a couple third parties, but I do everything from Google AdWords, Facebook, blogging.
And do you track any of it?
Yeah.
So you know,
I get weekly reports, so I know where it's all going.
but I mean, okay, you get weekly reports on how many people see the stuff, how many people respond to the stuff. Are you getting reports on, okay, this YouTube ad brought in X amount of customers, and so I
get the
spent
click
this much money over there and
information,
made that
if
much
that's
over
what
there?
you mean, but I don't get the full booking information because I have a full automated system, so I have to break the chain when they go to my website. But I ask them where they got it from, and sometimes they put it, and sometimes they don't. So I have a general idea, but not full because
I'm gonna take a moment right here and just address this. This is a great example of something that you want to fix in your business, because like you said, you want to stop wasting money. Number one problem I get from businesses is they're like, yeah, we're spending X amount of dollars every year on marketing, and I have no idea what's working or not. In fact, how many people here watch Shark Tank? I love that show, right? Damon Johns, one time, he was talking to one of the people and he goes, yeah, marketing, that's just the black hole of business. And it is, because most people have no idea what they're doing. So one of the things that you want to do immediately when you go back is you want to fix your funnel. That's what we call this. This is a sales funnel. So you want to start tracking, and you don't want to just ask them and leave it up to them that they tell us where they came from, how they saw us. We want to know.
The only issue is my auto booking software isn't compatible with any type of U.S. web basis because it's from Indonesia.
Then you need to get a new,
They don't make one as good as the one I use anywhere.
then you're going to keep wasting money. So it kind of comes down
This is why I
to,
brought Pete. Because I'm like,
What are we talking about?
No,
But if we get a general idea, like I know it's between $1 and $4 per hit. So like if
Well, not
I'm-
just per
if
hit
I'm-
though. We
well,
want to
per
track it
booking.
all the way through to services rendered. Because what we'll find too in business is that not all leads are created equal. In fact, that's what I like to call a writer downer. So you might want to write that down. Not all leads are created equal. So just because I get a lead over here for, let's say it cost me $5 to get this lead, and this one over here has cost me 10. Most businesses, most detailers are going to look at that and go, okay, well, I'm going to stop spending money on the $10 stuff because I can get leads over here for 5. But what if it takes me 5 of those $5 leads to get one customer? That means my customer acquisition cost is $25, right? But this guy over here at $10, maybe every 1.5 to 2 people over there, I'm getting a customer. So my customer acquisition cost is $15 to $20. That's why it's so important that we track everything all the way through, not just to how many people did I get on my website, how many quotes did I give out, but how many actually then became customers and what level of customer, right? Because maybe all they want is a car wash. You know, if I'm spending $10 to get somebody who wants a $29 car wash, forget it, right? I'm not making enough money. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
All right, we'll go into that more detail, but thanks so much for sharing that.
My name is Claude Harris, final appearance, auto detailing. Been detailing for about 24 years, and I think I've done it every kind of way possible. So right now I am actually, I guess you could say I'm doing like a dual profession. I have a full-time job, pays all the bills, and I have the business that I do it at my luxury, and it's really worked out. I got the best of both worlds. I look at it that way, and it's really been working good. I'm here today to get some more marketing ideas. I'm always, my biggest thing was always staying teachable, and especially in this business, that's my mantra, is staying teachable so you can stay on the cuff of everything that's going on. And also I'm looking at probably, you know, now that I'm getting a little long in the tooth, I want to start doing I wanted to do some training because I'm starting to get a following where guys want to come and they want to mentor. Yes, exactly. So, so anyway, that's where I'm at. I want to learn a little bit more because I started doing Google ads and stuff like that and just kind of just jumping in there and throwing stuff in there, but not really seeing where it's going, what it's doing, what it's producing. Because yeah, I need to get the high end stuff, but I need to get all the stuff, you know, and be able to control it more. So.
Awesome, thanks.
How you doing? My name is Merton Johnson from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm starting new in this business. And I'm a full-time.
You're the first Merton, by the way, that I've ever met.
I am. I'm a junior. I hate it.
That's cool.
I can't stand.
Never met your dad.
Damn near never met him myself. But no, I'm new. You know, so I'm full-time truck driver, local. This has been a dream of mine for all my life, you know, but now I'm starting late in the game, but I didn't want to jump out there. I need to know how to market myself, you know, and in St. Louis, it's not a competition about with the detailing out there. It's just a lot of shops, not too many mobile detailing. So I need to corner that market.
Awesome.
So I'm out here just learning, man, sucking it all in.
Great.
You know, just gonna be here, be a sponge.
Fantastic.
My name's Grant Lieben from St. George, Utah. We've got a mobile van for my business, but it's only outfitted for our subscription wash, vac, and wipe customers, and that feeds our shop location for full details and that type of stuff. I'm interested in learning a marketing strategy technique that's teachable and duplicatable for multiple shops. I want to have multiple locations and have a system that this is what we do, this is what works, and this is how we can kind of follow and measure and make sure and see that it's working.
Awesome. Great.
Morning, everybody. My name is Paul Weidler. I own and operate PC Auto Detailing. I'm a mobile detailer. I've been in the detail industry for about 22 years. Love it. Been on all different aspects, training, all kinds of fun stuff. Member of the IDA, certified detailer, and all that fun stuff. I'm here basically to, you know, as a 22-year veteran in this industry, I primarily do detailing, auto complete details, a lot of fix-it kind of stuff. But that, you know, comes as it comes. You know, you want to get something that's set up in business that's reoccurring. For any of you that are out there that are married, wives like to see a continuous check come in that they can hold on to. They can budget off of that. Where what do we got? What do we got coming in this month? I don't know. We'll see what happens. And we're tired of that and having to dance around that. So that's one of the things that I'm here to solidify a business that eventually we could sell, and if that happens. But anyway, that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
Good morning. My name is Sam. I own and operate Executive VIP Mobile Detail. I just recently started my own business. It's great. I have a passion for cars. I have a passion for detailing. I do anywhere from wax polishes, paint correction. And I find that detailing is you can be the best detailer out there, but if you don't have if you don't know the business aspects of how to run a business, then you won't not be successful. You will not be. So I'm here to listen to Pete and Jimbo.
But really just Pete.
Or see what you guys have to say. Learn, get some tips, get a lot of information from you guys on how to advertise and promote on social media as well. So I'm just here pretty much just to listen. Thanks, guys.
My name is Chris Woolman. I own Octane Detailing. It's a part-time business for me. I do have a full-time Monday through Friday job. And the goal is to grow that eventually so that if and when that Monday through Friday job disappears on me anytime soon, I have something to fall back on. And long-term, I want to do this full-time.
What's keeping you from making that jump right now? Is it the security of the...
Just the security, yeah. I mean, I won't lie. And just who wants to leave something they know brings a steady paycheck every month,
I've had many clients who I should have fired long before I did, but the money's coming in. And...
I mean, I totally recognize that if I left that, I would probably have a much easier time growing my business, But, I have a family and all that stuff. It's a hard jump. So,
how many days a week do you work then on the mobile detailing side?
It's weekends only for me.
Okay.
So
no
Saturdays and Sundays.
Always Saturdays and Sundays.
The occasional, if it's a small job like a headlight repair or just something that's like an a la carte hourly service, I can squeeze that in the evenings. But otherwise, it's Saturdays and Sundays.
Okay.
So, but one of my, I'd like to kind of learn more about how I could get better qualified customers. I'm trying to avoid the tire kickers, the price shoppers, that kind of thing. I want that qualified customer that appreciates what I do. And I'm also a little bit tired of the really nasty details, the ones that haven't, where they haven't detailed their car in 12 years kind of a thing. Yep. So anyway, that's where I'm at. And everything else is definitely something I want to learn as well. So.
Awesome. Great.
Good morning. My name is Mel Miller from Southern Los Angeles. Operate Sudden Impact Mobile Detailing. Jimbo, you actually did my website for me. So basically do waxes, detailing, car wash, and just here to learn some more marketing strategies and make more money, basically.
All right.
Henry Diaz with SoCal Auto Detail Center in San Diego. Fixed location. Been in business for 3 years. Started out doing with the mentality of a car wash. Really, didn't have any clue. I just knew I grew up in a body shop. My dad had 3 of them in New York. Got some training, have revamped, and now I'm doing correction and coatings and complete details. I'm trying to cipher out like my clientele. They're really good, but then there's some that just got grandfathered in and just won't leave, man. Like,
Pete has a strategy for people like that.
And I don't want to be rude to them, man. Clients are clients, and they've been with me from day one. But some of them, I just don't want to deal with them no more. Not in a bad way. It's just, there's one client who has a Bentley GT Speed, 52 hours into it, and it's just, it's between me and another detailer. I do all the correction work for him. The other detailer makes my job hell. So I'm just done with that client, man. I just don't want to deal with clients like that no more. And it's not about the car. To me, I see a car it's just paint. Man, what could I do to the paint? I don't care what kind of car it is, man. It's just paint. How much can you make it bling out, or pop, and stuff like that. So I just need to know how to get rid of clients in a good way, not in a bad way.
Did we talk about the AH tax on the podcast?
No.
I got my own philosophy on that, and this is what I do because I've got clients like that. Because this is being recorded, I'm gonna keep this as clean as I can.
That's cool, man.
The jerk tax. You come up with your own word for that if you want. But when I know I'm dealing with someone who's gonna drive me crazy like that, I intentionally bump up the price.
Man, I bumped it up 10 times already. He's not leaving. Like seriously,
Then you either got to walk away or.
And that's the thing is, I told him that we're not a perfect fit. Being blunt, man. And, as New York as I can get to him, man. He just won't leave, man. Like seriously, I try to do a shitty job and he still won't leave, man.
Is the other detailer want to give you the problems then?
Man, I talked to. It's weird, man, because he sent down the other detailer because the guy was just. He sent him down to my shop to get trained, and I told him how to, clean the car, and it's like, bro, whatever you use and stop. Let me give you the whole rundown. So, he still didn't get it. For 20 years, he's been doing it wrong. So, you can't teach him.
You could just make it a requirement with him. Say, hey, look, if you want me to continue working on your car, you have to use this detailer to do the other stuff. And if you won't do that, then we're not going to work.
But there's a few clients like that, so I just need to know how to cipher those guys out without being rude. And
see, I call it the jerk tax. That's the cleaned up version. And whenever they tick me off, I put on the I keep all my clients in manila folders, right? And I put on there how much extra they're paying me. So when they tick me off, I look over at that and I just kind of, okay, all right, calms me down a little bit. That's the reason why I'm charging you that. Yeah, it is. That's why I'm charging you that. That's why I'm charging you that. You know, because when they drive you crazy like that, you just.
But when do you get to that point when you like, you know what? It doesn't matter about the money anymore because it's just when It's taking a mental toll on you. And that's what it is. As you see the car, it's like, damn, man, this car's back here again, man. And you already know what's coming in for. I think it's just after 45 hours, man. You see one car, it's like, you know what, man, I'm just done. Even if he comes to the shop just to say hello, man, it's like, man, what's wrong with the car? You don't even want to see this guy. Yeah. So, and again, like most detailers be like, yo, I want to do exotics only. It's like, man, it's not that, man. It's like those are the most pain in the ass clients, man. It's like,
It comes to that old adage, and I use it a lot. All money is not good money.
Yeah.
I just had a clientele that he had like 7 cars. I mean, he had Lambos and everything, and I literally told him, it's like, you know what? Let me give you somebody else's card, and I just passed on it. I almost didn't because the money was like, dude. I mean, I'm talking like 6 G's because I was doing coatings, but then all of a sudden I started really looking at the picture of how they picked it apart. I said, you know what? I said, I'm gonna have to pass. But all money is not good money.
And he made a good point after that too of what future money am I going to miss out on by taking all the time to do this one car.
Right, because I would have spent 2 months of my time going because they wanted me to go. They wanted me to come to them, and I was telling them, no, you got to bring the cars to me, and they weren't budging. I'm going like, you know what? Yeah, not worth it. No, sorry.
No, we want that. That client.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
I'm Charles Kahn. I'm actually in the military, active duty. Been in for about 7.5 years.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Man, thanks. Appreciate it.
Which branch?
Navy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm stationed out of San Diego. I actually came to Henry over at SoCal Auto Detail Center. And I started off as a customer. We got to talking. Next thing you know, I got a Roots, dual action polish in my hand. So just trying to soak up as much information as I can. And long-term speaking, after I retire, that's something I would like to do, open up my own business back in Texas. So
nice.
Just trying to soak up as much information as I can while I can.
All right.
I got the time. So
cool.
Yep.
Thanks.
My name is Rob Duggan. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, home of the 2016 Stanley Cup champions. A full-time mobile electronics installer. Been doing part-time detailing for friends and family, and that's just been trying to figure out how to get away from my full-time job. But like a lot of guys have said, it's tough to give up that security. So hopefully maybe this will give me that push. Services, pretty much whatever the client will pay me for within reason, as long as it's not illegal. Just here to soak up knowledge and learn. Been listening to Jimbo's podcast since January, and still got a lot to go. So, thank you.
How's everyone doing? My name is Josh Dominguez. I'm with Extreme Clean Mobile Detail out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Came with my brother and my dad next to me. Been in business for about 3 years. We're mobile. We do have a shop, but 90% of what we do is mobile. I do have a crew, keep them full time, and I'm looking to add a second and a third crew on the road. So what I want to get out of this is, do I need to market more? What do I need to do? And we're not doing much marketing right now, but I know to add more crews on the road, I'm going to have to do some more strategic marketing. So that's what I'm looking to get out of this. I listen to the podcast faithfully, so good meeting you.
Painfully or faithfully?
Sometimes it's painful. And good to meet you, Pete.
Good to meet you.
Been listening to you as well, so thanks. It's good to be here.
Good morning. My name is Caleb Dominguez. I own Eco Clean Mobile Detail out of San Diego. Been in business for a little over a year now. And my main thing, I'm just trying to get away from clients who don't take care of their cars. And it's like a trash. It's like a trash can, literally. So that's my big thing. That's just me.
I'm the senior of the group here. This is Dad. Josh Dominguez. There's my two boys here. Basically new in the business. I just moved back home from Texas, been there for about 3 years. So I decided to take up what's left of this year to chime in with my son Caleb and son Josh over here. He's been in his game plan to start a business, bring his business over to California and San Diego, because he gets hammered for like 4 months of bad weather, where his business dramatically drops. So we wanted to come over here, and I decided to chime in with my son. He's doing a pretty good job. It's taking off for him. So I'm just here to learn the marketing side of it, and just get a lot and learn. My son say we got to go to this thing, Dad, and so he loves coming down here to hit the taco shops and stuff. Anyway, so thanks a lot, friend.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marvin Lopez. Right now, I'm a part-time detailer, basically just on the weekends. I do maintenance washes and everything but coatings right now. I do want to get into coatings. And I just want to know how to get stable clients. Like, I get people that come for washes, but then I don't see them 2 months later, or I don't know how to keep them, basically.
Yeah, go ahead.
We had that problem too when I was on my third van, and we stopped doing washes.
Stop doing
You can only do
altogether.
washes if you're part of our contract.
See that? I think that's what I need. Like, set them up, and then from there, sell them just the maintenance washes.
Right.
Because
There's car wash people, and then there's detail.
My name is Cannon Adams. We were involved years ago in '92 with the wireless car wash product. It was the first multi-level marketing, and we did very well. We did about $10,000 in sales quarterly. Then we did probably about $3,000 a month in detailing, and then we taught people how to do that, and then we had a downline. It went really well until the company went bankrupt, but the product was really good. So that's my experience background in auto detailing. And then throughout the years, just kept education going. But as far as the last 25 years, I just sold last year my carpet cleaning business. So where I'm at right now is in between businesses, debating on if me and my son are going to go into full-time detailing, because we, pretty much have pretty good knowledge background on it. But what I'm here is because I'm familiar with marketing stuff. That's what we did for carpet cleaning. And so pretty much I think what we're here is we're in between businesses. So we're deciding which direction we're going to go. So we're going to, benefit from the marketing side of this. And then I have a actually, Josh, I talked to you in Pennsylvania. And then how I met Jimbo was through Pearl, the wireless car wash. Yeah, through Dave Elliott. You guys were on his, I don't know what it was, podcast. It wasn't a podcast. It was a podcast.
Show?
Yeah.
Pearlcast or whatever.
Yeah, it was the wireless Pro Zone. That's what it was. Which all of a sudden just stopped. So I guess he's got bored with it. But that's how I got to know Josh and Jimbo here. So.
You're the first Canon I ever met.
You know, I wish I
What a
would've
great name. What's your name?
trademarked-
Cannon. What's yours? Pete. You know, it's like
You know what? My middle name's Maverick. So I mean, if I could just make money on it, that'd be great.
What's your last name?
Adams.
And then you got a totally normal last name.
Normal last name, yeah.
All right.
Hi, how are you guys? I'm Victor Garcia. I started my business when I was 17, so about 4 years. Mainly what I'm dealing with right now is just like, mini details, kind of maintenance washes, but I'm kind of like leaning away from that now. Mainly just, I don't like to go too heavy into paint correction right now because, it's not really where I'm getting all most of my money from now. I do coatings, but it's not the majority of my business. Mainly what I'm trying to take away from the seminar is how Pete said how, you want to have a guaranteed, 5,000, before the month even begins.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm mainly trying to do. But, I'm all inclusive, do wheel repair, some like light touch up, and, some minor reconditioning just depending on the customer, mainly like on classic cars, if they need to put in, let's say like carpet or something, like something very basic. I do offer a side service of selling customers' cars for them, and I'll just take like a flat fee. And
I do that too.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah, no, I started.
What do you charge for your flat fee?
Like cars, 25,000 and under would be, I would say 400, and then I kind of ask them, what do you want, and then like anything above that, I don't take the whole. I take a 15%, so it's maybe like 2,000, because people really get turned off by, oh, we get 50%. People don't really like that, so I just take a flat 15% from there. My main sources of advertisement, or not even advertising, just how people find me is just through Google. I started Google AdWords on Wednesday, and so far, I've been ranking, like 1.4, 1.7.
Like this past Wednesday?
No, this Wednesday, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I
Like
bought
4 days ago.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
because
cool.
I bought your
cool.
the AdWords and all that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Jimbo, what do you charge to sell people's cars?
Well, so it's interesting because when you said 400, that like 400 or 500 is flat rate. That's about. Oh, you want me to grab it?
I do. I want to hear what the mighty Jimbo has to say.
I'm kind of like
forever.
that. Whoever said it back there, like I'll sell anything that's borderline ethically and morally right. Well,
let me tell you where the line is, guys.
Because though we
there's legal and there's not legal,
And-
and then there's ethical and not ethical. Stay on the ethical legal side.
See, but
You're
then-
always good.
So it's white and black, right? But in between that, there's a tiny sliver of a gray line, and I hover in there sometimes. No, but we don't have bad winners. We don't have bad winners out here compared to somewhere you guys at.
Dude, it can go down to 60. What are
But
you talking
yeah,
about?
but it can sometimes rain for a few days in a row. And the downfall to out here is if it's going to rain on like say Thursday. Well, leading up into Thursday, it's going to be slow because people are thinking, well, it's going to rain. Why am I going to get my car washed? Which is kind of goes into, well, don't do car washes, because I've also found that the people that are car wash customers are the people that do that. The people that want their car detailed. It needs to be detailed whether it's going to rain or not. So, but that's a little side tangent. Going back, I want to answer every question, but 400 or 500, if you're going to sell the customer's car, is right about what they're willing to pay. I've also done the method where it's like, hey, what do you want for the car? But I keep 100% of whatever's over that, the price of what they want. And I factor in, hey, I got to do research, because a lot of people will be like, well, the Kelley Blue Book says $23,000. I want $23,000, and it's like, well, that's great that Kelley Blue Book said that, but what's the market saying? Because maybe the market's only saying 18, so we're never going to get 23 for your car. So there's all that into it, but it's a great avenue. So I don't promote it, but if people ask, I do it because we get called out for the pre-sale detail a lot. And so sometimes it's like, people don't want to hassle with calls and whatever. And you say, hey, let me take care of all that. I'll take all the pictures. After I detail it, it'll be fresh. I'll post it. I'll filter all the calls. And compared to detailing, it's easy, right? Because you're just fielding calls and texts, and it's like an easy $500, you know, that you do have to claim. But
you guys listen
of
to
course.
that podcast? Where I'm
Of
like,
course.
claim your money.
You know, I've sold like Jeep hardtops. Like I've sold one of those for a customer. I mean, pretty much anything having to do rims, like BMW 7 Series rims are hot. Those sold like. But yeah,
where do you sell them?
Craigslist. I always sell on Craigslist.
Would you say it's a bad idea to have that service on your website?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can only legally sell 3 cars a year, or you can get.
No. But I'm selling like the customer already has the title and everything.
I wouldn't, because then you start, and maybe you have a different opinion on this, but like it's kind of like the detailer on his business card that also does window cleaning and house cleaning.
Okay.
Like
right.
What's going on? It can get slimy like really quick.
Mhm.
So I don't even, and this is just what I do. I don't really even promote it unless I got to feel out the customer. Sorry, I don't have the mic.
Mhm.
I got to feel out the
I
customer.
thought you were done talking.
I was gonna say I talk for a living, and then I realized
You don't.
I detail for a living. Anyway, so I wouldn't promote it on my website because then it's out there for everyone to see, and I would just do it between the customers.
Word of mouth kind of deal.
Depending on how they. Most customers love it. They're like, "Oh man, this is great." Especially if you're like, "Well, what do you want for the car?" And I'll just keep over that. They're like, "Well, I got nothing to lose." But promoting it, and there is a law about selling so many cars before you technically have to have.
And that's going to be different in every state too.
Yeah, a license, and
Okay.
then it gets into like I call it that. That's called, like, too much work. It's
Hi, my name is Mitch Lieben. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I am new to the detailing business. I've had an IT consulting business for the past 20 years. I'm also a 3D printing consultant, and I reached a point in life where I wanted to follow a passion, which has been cars and detailing. And so I started at the beginning of this year in January. I went to the competition ready training in Palm Beach with Mike Phillips, and really kind of stepped up my game and learned some of the higher end techniques. My interest is in paint correction and comprehensive detailing. So rather than try to squeeze as much work I can into the amount of time available, which is never enough, my preference is to have them bring the car to me. I have a home shop, so it's not a commercial shop, but it's in my home. I have a lift in there, and that gives me the freedom to spend as much time as I wish on any part of the car. Rather than having picking a la carte off a menu, I can say it's a comprehensive detail, top to bottom, inside and out, or whatever their focus is. I do not prefer working on interiors. I'll do it, but it's not my passion. I really like working with paint. In my IT business, I never advertised. It's all word of mouth. So I really have no background in marketing. I just didn't need to, and now I need to in a big way. I'm very obvious that I have to do that. I'm transitioning, so yes, but long term, what I'm trying to do is build a saleable business. I'm looking for recurring revenue. I'm looking for possibly something that my boys can grow into. Basically, just kind of branching out into a whole new arena, keeping my mind sharp and going into something else. And I really enjoy the work. And being in IT, personally, I've always stayed away from Facebook, and I don't like Google, and I'm very sort of private, and I've never done any of that stuff.
Have you ever connected to a public Wi-Fi?
No, I don't. No. I know all.
Yeah, Starbucks has Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, never. Never. I'm always telling my wife, here's the VPN program, here's how to, So I have sort of an aversion to Facebook specifically, but I'm in. I realize I need it, and so I started on Instagram, which is more organic, and I like Instagram actually. It's the first social platform I've been on. I think it's a good way to just sort of publicize what I'm doing, let people take a look, interact a little bit. But of course, there's not really any advertising. There's no tracking. There's no metrics on there. I know they're just starting to actually to link it to Facebook. And so what I'd like to do is one of my big challenges is the tracking of the customers, the CRM, scheduling, automation. I've implemented Salesforce and all kinds of other big platforms. That's way more than I need. And already I'm starting to lose track of who's who and which car and what do they say and what do they want and when do they want me to call them back and do they never want me to call them back and just sort of having some type of a way to track all that, record it all, and use the technology to my advantage. And so I'm really well versed in setting all that stuff up. But as far as choosing the right products, that's what I'm looking for is a way to build my database and have it. Like the communication that you guys did for this event was phenomenal. Thank you. It was very good. I got the emails. I got phone calls. I got.
It was all me.
I got the text on the way in this morning. I mean everything. Right. That's what I'm looking for. Not so much the detailing how to, but how to capture the valuable customers and keep them coming back. Like everybody else. I don't want the looky-loos. I don't want the, like in my IT work, the worst kind of customer is when they call me cold out of the phone book. It's the worst type of job because they expect the world from you and they clearly don't have somebody already and they want it, they're price shopping.
That's right. And get an IT guy out of the phone book.
Yeah, that's the word, right?
Well,
right.
If you don't understand IT, you're still using a phone book.
I got a phone book the other day.
Right. And so I'm looking for the educated customer. I had one the other day. It was a 2010
It was the
Land
only
Rover.
one, by the way. That's the only educated customer you're ever going to run into.
Well, it was really nice because he knew what he wanted. He knew the lingo. He understood what he was looking at. At the end of the day, he came back and he was thrilled. He said, "That's."
And willing to pay a premium.
Happily, he just he was like, and he said, "I want you to do maintenance washes. Just call my wife, set it up. Don't be shy. Stay on top of us because we want to right." And he's so that's what I'm looking for is a great
But then how do you
experience.
take a customer like that and make sure that you're following up with the wife to get the maintenance washes, to get the other cars?
Exactly.
But make it easy and not, or easier and not make it this additional burden. Where like, man, now I'm going home at night and working 2 extra hours freaking sitting in front of my computer. Yeah.
Right. I don't want to be shuffling. Right now I'm using Evernote and I'm just kind of shuffling papers. And it's as I'm getting more and more clients, it's obviously too much to track. And I'd also like to have a way to publicize and reach out, maybe a promotion or a special or a referral program or whatever's new.
Your existing database.
Yeah. And I'd like to inform everybody. And I'd also like to host events where I could say, hey, it's a detailing Saturday. Come out, come over and bring your car. We'll work on, we're concentrating on wheels today or whatever it is. And I'd like to bring them out and just sort of spread the knowledge. I'm not the kind of guy that wants to keep it all a secret. I don't mind telling anybody anything that I'm doing or products or techniques that I use. Well, person to person is fine. Facebook is a whole, but I'm prepared. In other words, for the business, yeah. So I looked at the Facebook videos, and I have a personal page that I haven't logged into for many years, but it's there. And I want to set up a business page and make it work for me. So that's how I don't like Facebook from a personal standpoint, but from a business standpoint, I'm all about it. If I can take advantage of what they do to everybody else.
Yep. See, I'm right with
fine.
you on that. I'm a lurker on Facebook. I'd much rather read and watch the videos and all that stuff than actually type something on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just annoys me to type on there.
Yeah.
But I love Facebook because I would rather just pay to run an ad and get a client, right? Just run an ad, get a client, run an ad, get a client, and I don't have to do any of this organic crap.
Right. So I'd like to have things linked together as much as possible. One you hit post once and it goes to 3 places. And back to cars, my particular weakness is Porsches, and I do turn cars. I look for cars that are mechanically sound but look a little tired. and I can turn them around and really increase the value of the car. And so what I've been doing is I have that because when I don't have booked work, I can always go back to my shop and work on that. And so I'm always working. It's just my work that I've created for myself or customer work. And I'm just kind of getting the word out in the Houston area. And there's several very good detailers out there that I've met, and I want to be one of them.
Awesome.
So,
Can I add
Yeah.
a point to that? And obviously it depends on where you're at and stuff, but that's another idea is if the customer says, oh, I'm getting ready to buy the car, and you're fairly familiar with that car, you could always offer them, hey, I'll buy the car from you and maybe throw in a free detail. Well, or maybe. Because if you're going to clean it up yourself, I'm thinking, why do you need to get it detailed? But them detailing it is kind of your gateway in. So maybe you can, or do research on your phone real quick, because maybe you can make $1,000 or $2,000 and kind of flip that car. Again, like you mentioned, make sure you're doing it legally. But
That was not on tape.
I'm just going to let that one there. Leave that one there.
Well, guys, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next year.
Yep, thanks.
We're done.
Woo, and we made it by 10, Pete.
All right.
Am I done here?
Yeah, you're done there. Thanks. Jimbo is going to be our mic runner.
Do you want me to stand? Or?
He-
Yeah, if you have a question, just raise your hand and I'll.
He had another term for it this morning, but
My mic's off.
actually don't turn it off, man, because it screws up the audio. We already learned that one. So all right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through some stuff here this morning. Then we're going to take a break. I believe that the mind can only absorb what the butt can endure. So I'm a big believer.
Comedian.
So I believe in breaking and breaking often. So we're going to break in the morning. Then we'll finish off for lunch. We got lunch coming in, so you guys don't need to go anywhere for that. And then we'll finish off this afternoon. And Jimbo's got some great information that he just made up, actually.
Completely. I just finished it this morning.
So our goal today, guys, is we want to give you some great ideas, actionable ideas that you can take from here and immediately go implement in your business. Also, a little bit later, we'll tell you about a program that Jimbo and I put together called Detailing for Profits. For those of you that will want to get involved with that, that's awesome. We'll tell you about that this afternoon. But we're going to give you some great information as we go throughout this. And what really makes our time different here, we're not giving you theory. We're not giving you, general ideas. I think this will work. We're giving you stuff that works. And I know because I've spent my own money learning this stuff. And now that's what I do for my clients is I do their marketing. They come to me and they're like, Pete, I need help with this. I need to get more clients. It's usually what it is. How many of you here think you need to get more clients? How many of you here think you just need to get more money with the clients you've got? How many of you would like to get more referrals from your clients? Yeah, see, there's all these different ways that we can look at business, and we're going to be addressing all this different stuff as we go throughout our time here this morning. So a little bit about myself. That's my professional photo. 5-time author. Most recent book is What Everyone Ought to Know About Facebook Advertising. I'm responsible for some of the biggest product launches on the internet, including Dan Kennedy and Chip Kessler's Making Them Believe home study course. They're really big names in the marketing world, so that's the reason why I usually include that in there. I've been working with small businesses since 2001 fashion or another, doing most of the marketing stuff that I do now since 2007 and 8 is when I really got started doing all of the marketing for other companies. And of course, the last bullet point, this is going to be a writer-downer. I'm also a handsome devil. So that Jimbo was just for, or that joke was just for Jimbo there.
I've heard it before.
Yeah, I know. All right, so I've done a lot of things right over my career, and I've done a lot of things wrong. And it's certainly the things that I've done wrong that have taught me the biggest lessons. So after doing this for the last 16 years, here's what I've learned. Most business owners haven't clearly defined their market. And this is a really big, big deal. I was doing a coaching call yesterday with a real estate agent, and we're talking, and she's like, hey, I don't know where she is in the country. I think she was like Indiana or something. she's like, yeah, I just listened to your training on defining my audience. And right now, the homeowners that I work with have $250,000 homes, which in California, we'd call those shacks or something, right? I've never seen anything that cheap in years here. And she's like, but I'm trying to move up to a higher bracket. And I don't know anything about these people. What do I do? I'm like, what's that? Well, there's a lot of things you could do, but the point is you have to actually go see who they are, right? You can't just go, well, I'm going to go work a higher market. You need to know, where do they shop? Where do they go out to eat? What restaurants do they go to? Are they divorced? Are they second marriage people? Do they have kids? Are they empty nesters? Like, you need to know all of this information. It's the same thing in your detailing business. When you're looking at your ideal client, you need to know all about them. Here's a key to marketing. And I want you guys to write this down. It's called ABC. And I think we talked about it on one of the episodes of the podcast. It stands for audience, bait, channel. This right here, once you really get this cemented in your head, you're going to be able to control your destiny when it comes to any business you do, because you're going to understand the core to marketing and getting in front of the right type of buyers. Once you've clearly defined who that audience is, then you got to go, okay, what's the bait that if I were to put that bait in front of that person, they're going to bite on it, and I can get them into my sales funnel. And then the third thing is, what's the channel that's going to allow me to use the right bait that's going to get me in front of that audience? Does that make sense? So it could be Facebook, could be Google AdWords, could be postcards, could be joint ventures, could be whatever it is. But everything is controlled first and foremost by the audience. Then we go to the bait, then we go to the channel. And most businesses, including detailers, haven't really sat down to figure out who their audience is. Has anybody here sat down and thought, who is their ideal audience? Who's your ideal audience?
High-rise living people and anyone that works in tech companies.
Okay. Hey, Jimbo, can you hand me the mic?
Yeah, sorry. I saw guys in the garage, so I thought I'd tell Mike about it.
Make sure that they weren't stealing stuff. Go ahead and say that again.
High-rise living clients and tech industry.
Okay.
So,
any specific tech companies?
I mainly do Microsoft, Amazon, and T-Mobile.
Okay. Any specific type of car at those companies?
Card or car?
Car, vehicle.
No, any of them.
What have you found about the tech companies that makes you go, okay, that's an ideal market for me?
Most of them are Mercedes or BMWs.
So you know you like Mercedes, BMWs because those people
keep them clean.
Keep them clean. All right, so you start to understand that when you start to really get that kind of idea. Now he can look at, like if he were to look at doing Facebook advertising or anything like that, he could specifically target those companies. And those of you in the VIP who went through the training, and if you haven't, you still have access to it. With Facebook, you can say, okay, I want people who live in this zip code, who drive a BMW, who work at this company, who have a car that's 5 years or newer, 5 years old or newer. I mean, you can really define who you want down. And so when you know that's who my target audience is, then I go, okay, what's the right bait that if I put that in front of this guy, he's going to bite on it. I can get him into my sales funnels. Does that make sense? Most haven't thought about what bait will get people to respond. Most haven't clearly defined and carefully constructed a follow-up sequence. Do you have any idea how much money you're missing out on because you're not properly following up with customers? Jimbo?
A lot.
Thank you for that astute answer. I'm not going to mention any names, but I got this detailer that if he would ever follow up with me,
like
he would get
before
more
the
business.
event. Like if I would have called you before the event to do your
if you would have
car.
yeah, we were just talking about that this morning. He's like, oh, you got your car washed? I'm like, yeah, my detailer didn't call me. He knew I had this event coming up. I needed a clean car. And
I would have upsold you to a wash and a wax.
Of course you would have. But he didn't follow up with me. Missing out on money, right? I'm going to give you an example here. My wife and I, we live in a little city near here called Rossmore. And we're having this awning put in our backyard. At least that's what I thought we were going to do. Because, the summer's coming up. We've lived there for like 10 years. And now we got 2 kids. And, the whole kids like to play in the backyard, whatever, right? Kids. So I wanted to have some sort of shade because I pretty much hate the sun. Right? I'm a redhead. I can't stand it. I hate Southern California. I'm only here because my wife says that there's a 5-mile radius from my in-laws I got to spend the rest of my life in. Otherwise, I would not be here, right? It's true. That's a true story. I would totally not be here. So, you know, I call up Sunsetter Awning, right? Probably off of one of the TV commercials. I don't remember what it was.
Wasn't it Facebook ad?
No, he wasn't. No, they were not Facebook ads. So the guy, first of all, he gets me on the phone. He goes, okay, well, I just want to let you know, before I come out there and actually look at the place, minimum, it's going to be $2,200. And basically what he's doing is he's letting me know this is the minimum because I don't want to waste my time and come out there, right? I got no problem with that. I'm in sales. I'm like, I get it. Minimum $200 or $2,200, that's cool.
I do have a question though. Is that do you risk turning off the client and being a jerk? Like, obviously it was said in the right context, but I just worry that if someone calls for a detail and you're like, hey, well, just so you know, it's at least going to be $250. Like, I get it to use it as a filter, but I guess it depends on the context and how you actually say it to the customer.
It's all how you say it.
Because, like, if
You need
he
to
would have said
ask
that
it,
to
though.
me, I would have had the adverse reaction that you did of like, cool, I get it, I'm in sales. But for someone who's not in sales and is just a normal consumer, they could potentially be turned off by that.
If they are afraid of your price, do you ever think they're going to pay it at any stage?
No, but I guess the point would be just to make sure that you're articulating it.
Yeah, you just
correctly.
articulate it correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, they can
Okay.
feel insulted, like, oh, you think maybe I can't afford it.
Well, see, the way that he handled it, and it was the way that I would handle it, is, and thank you, Mike Renner, is I would just say, oh, man, that fan feels great. That's awesome.
It's awesome, huh?
I'm standing right there. Sorry, guys, you're going to get all my scent all day.
Just don't let one flow.
But, I mean, just the way he said it was cool. I mean, I'd be totally cool about it, too. You're going to find out a little bit about their car. You're going to find out, when was the last time you had it detailed? Why are you looking to have it detailed this time? Because you want to know, if it's been sitting around for 12 years and I'm getting ready to sell it, let me tell you, there's a lot of work that's probably going to have to be done. I'm just going to give you a ballpark. When I get out there, I can actually see it. But this is going to be the ballpark. Tell me what you think.
One thing that I do is I just say, and this is all business I've been, I just say it starts at. So just letting you know, that service starts at $250, but I'll give an estimate once I see, right? And that's I find that a more pleasant way of introducing them to the price range that they may be asking for. I have had people with the detailing that have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'll give them X dollars, and they say, well, it's 10 times more than what they were thinking. So it does help to give them a range. And so I direct people towards my website that does have a price list, but it says these are guidelines. Every job is.
I would actually, myself, I would take the prices off the website.
Yeah.
So why?
I know that's another. way to
The
go
reason
about it.
is when you tell someone the price, you've just told them every reason why they don't need to call you. Because your knowledge is not wrapped up in the price. Like, your skill is wrapped up in, let me find out about your car. Let's talk about it. What are you looking to do? One of the things that Jimbo and I have really covered that I didn't understand that he totally gets, and that is everyone has a different idea when you say detail.
Right.
What do you mean by detail? What do they mean by detail? So if you have a price on there, all that does is I go, okay, well, he's charging $250. Forget it. He's out of his mind. And I'm off to the next one.
Because
I might have been thinking, yeah, I'm thinking a wash and a wax.
Well, but you'd have that split. I have it split out on my
Yeah,
website.
but
to
still,
say,
you're just telling people. I wouldn't tell them the price. Get them on the phone.
Okay.
And so anyway, here's my point on follow up. So the Sunsetter Awning guy, he comes out. He finally measures the whole, area, all that stuff. Turns out it's like $36.50, I think, to have the awning put in. So I'm like, well, I got a guy coming out next week. And it was like, what's that plastic stuff called? It's like the
Vinyl?
Vinyl, yeah, the vinyl. So I'm like, I got the vinyl guy's coming out. He's going to look at, putting a patio cover. And so let me find out what he charges. Yeah, kind of one of those type of things. And so he's like, okay, that's cool. And he leaves. And this is, 3-4 months ago. So then I email the vinyl guy. And I go, by the way, now I got some new measurements because the Sunsetter guy was just out here and he measured everything. So I go, here's really what the measurements are. Now give me an estimate. And that guy was like $6,500. And I go, you're out of your mind. I'm not paying $6,500. So this is 3-4 months ago.
But did he tell you the value of why it was $6,500?
No, because I'm a salesman, man. I don't want to hear your sales talk. Just give me the price so I can say no to it and move on. So I'm like, all right, well, I got to have the sunsetter guy come out and put in, the awning. But I don't have time to call him. So it's literally been month after month after month. And finally, my wife goes, hey, I just, found this in the magazine for these guys who do custom. Because we really wanted like a nice wood gazebo, but built in and all this stuff. And so I'm like, all right, well, we'll call up those guys. As soon as I go down there and I see those guys, I'm like, so going with these guys. Ends up costing me $7,000. $500 more than the vinyl guy who I said no to. But that was because of their sales presentation, which I'll actually get to later, because they had some great stuff in there that you guys can use. But here's my point, is that if the awning guy had called me at any point in those 3 months, or emailed me and said, hey, are you ready to get started with the awning? I would have said yes, because that's who I thought I was going to go with. I just didn't get around to it. He lost out on $3,600 because he didn't follow up with me. That's where most businesses are losing their money. They got clients like Jimbo. We were, joking this morning. If he would have just called me, hey, you want me to come out there and detail your car before the event on Saturday? What am I going to say? No, I'm going to go with bird poop on it, which now it's got bird poop on it because it happened on Thursday that I got clean. And
Well, that you should have waited till yesterday.
I didn't have time yesterday. But if I had a mobile detailer come to my house,
I don't know any.
Before we get too far, when you were talking about, that's one of the things that I've done a long time ago is not put prices on. And another thing that it does is just like when Jimbo, it's more like a custom thing for me.
Yeah.
And so when I shoot out a price, it depends. I kind of feel them out. I'll tell them that I charge an hourly rate and this is what it's going to cost. Or I'll just if I drop a number, and then I start to explain to them, it's like 5 minutes into the conversation. I said, you know what? Here, let me give you this guy's number right here because you're not looking for a detailer. You're looking for a wash and wax guy.
Right.
And I'm just not your guy. Yeah. And I can go and I can just.
Sorry, I might have your guy. I found somebody outside. I might have your guy.
This wasn't scripted. Would you like to say anything into a mic that doesn't amplify it to anything?
Microphones scare me to death.
Wow. Thanks for coming.
I'm on my way. There's a new event today called the LA Summer Concours up by Staples Center. And they're promoting big time. They say it's going to be the biggest thing. They're, first time show. So it's a car show. It's Saturday. I got to be at a car show, right? So I got some car guys. I just picked them up, and sorry to tell you, I didn't know this was going on when they told me you're here. I got to come in and say hi. How you doing? Good group here, huh? Yeah. You were in for a day with these guys. I guess you know that. So you've come a long ways to do that. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for being here. And isn't it great to be a car guy? Yes. Isn't it great to work and have your passion and your work be all the same thing? Yes. So just have fun all the time. So it is pretty cool.
Can I grab my phone and take a picture of you up there?
Sure. Anybody have a quick question? Anything you want to ask me?
Just thanks for hosting and letting us come here today.
Yes. It's great. These guys, we had such a great team. So proud of our team members. I go back when it was just me. I had nobody else. And it just started growing. And then all of a sudden the whole thing has had a life of its own. It just goes on. The passion goes out. And to see that passion shared as much by those who join with us as those who we get. I mean, you guys will get paid for this, right? I mean, from us, right? And to see that ripple effect go and to see it worldwide, it's global. Wherever we go, in the poorest of countries, there are car guys with passion for their cars. Sometimes they're strange cars. I mean, it doesn't matter. The countries where you can import American cars, there's hot rods all over the place. I mean, the American hot rod is the great ambassador for America. Everybody loves the sound of the V8 engine, But there is this consistency with car guys globally that is unmistakable. I mean, car guys just have this thing about them, I mean, I always say car guys are the greatest guys on earth. We're all better people, we have better friends because of the car guys. Isn't it true?
Yes.
Right. I mean, car guys, it doesn't matter. I love it because everybody's generous, caring, giving. You're competing against a guy and he needs something, you're going to go over and help him. there's no barriers. It's not about money. It's not about race. It's not about language. It's not about your guy or gal, right? Whatever. We're all car guys. And it's just like heaven's going to be. We're all God's children. We're just one great family. I think it's the greatest community out there. So thank you for sharing that passion with us. It's wonderful to have you here, and I know you're in for a great day. Pardon me for interrupting.
Thank you.
That was a good interruption.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think that's an interruption that we'll all take. So sorry for cutting you off.
No, that's okay. So just and that's another reason why I don't have a menu or anything like that, because when you're talking on the phone or you're going through, I can kind of figure out within 5 minutes if that person's my client or not.
Right.
And then I graciously either pass it on to somebody else or do something like that. But
Do you give an estimate before you see the car?
no, I give amount. Yeah, I give an amount, but I try to really push the eval. I said, and I do a free on-site eval. I said, let me come out and do an eval, and then we're basically walking through the car, because then I want to know, okay, is it a daily driver? Is it a show car? Because now, and I don't really touch too much on their budget, but then, okay, now we got the package. Now I know, okay, this is what you need, and this is what I can do for what you need, and then give them the price. And then that's where the hourly rate comes in. Okay, well, that's going to take me 10 hours at X amount of dollars,
Right.
and boom.
All right.
Pete, what's your follow-up sequence structurally? I mean,
We're going to get into that more detailed later. Yeah. But that's a great question. Also, businesses don't know how to run effective ad and referral campaigns that bring them clients. How many of you have ever run into that problem? No one? No one? We're going to spend time this afternoon addressing that specifically, because there are things that most detailers do. That's the reason why you're not getting clients. You're literally not running the same. You're not running the right type of advertising pieces. You're pretty much copying what everyone else is doing. Right? Isn't that how most of us get our advertising? Oh, this looks really cool. I'm going to do the same thing. I think I can even find the same car on Google and put it on there, right? And we just copy what everyone else is doing. We have no idea if it works or anything like that. So we're going to address that this afternoon. So let's talk about true customer value. Now, I'm a little bit worried that you guys may not have gotten the email that I sent out earlier in the week where I said, here's some things that you want to have for Saturday. How many clients do you have? What's your average? Did you guys get that email?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I was worried my correction email, well, you probably don't read my emails.
Oh my God, Pete, delete, archive.
So,
Look at that.
So let's take a look at some of this stuff, and if anybody wants to be bold and share their stuff, we will. So the first thing I want you to do, if you didn't bring it with you, I want you to write down in your notes approximately how many customers do you have right now in your database, on your phone, in your Excel file, however you store or don't store your stuff.
Does anyone need a pen?
Brand new pens, never been used.
Good.
Can't push the pens, man. I'm trying and can't push them.
Oh, they're not gonna have pens. I'm like, dude, they'll have pens. We didn't have
Like they're car guys.
We didn't have that conversation.
Yeah.
Now, when you say
Hold on.
customers, do you mean like customers you've had, throughout your whole
Whatever you would consider customers, that's what I want to start with, because it could be different, right?
Oh, okay.
So what do you consider? Okay, I've got, like Jimbo. How many customers would you say you've got?
In my database, or like
Let's start with in your database,
about 150.
and then how many would you say are active customers?
I think I have a bigger database that I actually don't have their info on.
You got no way to get a hold of
I
them.
have no way of getting a hold of them, of about 300 to 400.
That's an awesome database, by the way, because
But
can't do anything with it.
My hard database is only like 150.
Okay.
Because I've sucked at.
And would you say the 150 are active clients?
Yeah.
Okay, so those are
Fairly active.
150. So that's really what we're getting at, is what your active clients
I
are.
looked back at my schedule, and as of January, I have about 80 solid
Okay.
clients.
Awesome.
So I didn't want to look back too far since.
Yeah, sometimes you can. So go ahead and write that down. Write down however many clients you've got. Then what I want you to write down is per year, per 12-month period, How many times do you see that client? How many times do they hire you to do work? Do a detail?
Average of that?
Yeah, it's an average. It's an average. What would you ballpark say it is? Jimbo's saying I might have a database of 300 people, but 150 of them are really active. So he's got all these other people who, if we put the right message to them, we might be able to reactivate them as clients because they're in our database. We've done work for them, but we got 150 that are.
Maybe it's someone who called you for a full detail 6 months ago, but they haven't been back since. But you still have their info, at least their phone number and name, I'd say. Is that accurate, Pete?
That's fine. That's fine because all these things actually come into play, all these different nuances of it. And then what I want you to write down is what is the average investment that they make when they hire you? What do they spend with you? What are they paying you on average? Like Jimbo, what would you say that is for you on average?
I'd say the average person is probably around 125 to 150 bucks.
Okay, and how often do you see them a year? All right, let's put it down for 4.
With my current, because with Square, if you use Square, you could see your average sale per customer, right? So that's kind of where I'm basing that number off of.
Okay.
So the average customer is spending between 125, 150 bucks. I probably see them 3-4 times a year.
All right.
But what's confusing me is that I have people that I see every week, and then people that I see twice.
Yeah, I understand. There's different. That's why you just look at the average.
Yeah, and that average could be off, but it's fairly close.
All right. So in the course of a year, would you say out of those 150 active clients, how many of those do you think you see about 4 times a year, 3 to 4 times a year?
Out of my database, say 25, I guess. I honestly have no idea.
All right, so that wouldn't be your average then, right? Because your average would be the other 125.
Yeah. Okay.
But here's what I want you to do. First of all, think about your average, depends on how you want to look at this. Average day, average week, average month. How many leads would you say you get in an average week? Let's look at that number.
I could do that.
All right, how many leads
So
do you
I'm
say you
getting
get?
about 5.
5 per week?
Yeah.
All right.
Average
So
week.
out of 26, that's going to be 130 leads a year, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Which is, do the math, and I don't have a very good system to implement into my database.
Out of those leads, how many of those would you say you convert? What percentage?
I'd say about half.
So a good 50%. Yeah. So every 5 or every 10, you're going to get 5 as clients. And how many times will then you see them the rest of the year? Those leads. Can we look at, would we say 3 times for that?
Yeah, on average, 2 to 3, because a lot of those are the pre-sale details.
Okay. They still have other cars though, right?
Usually.
And they're going to be buying a new one,
but
right?
Sometimes, yes, but sometimes, not all the time, those people don't see the value in detailing their car, and they get a new car. And here's where educating comes in, because they get a new car and they're like, well, I'll see you in 3 years when I'm going to turn in my lease. And it's like, well, okay. And then it gets into, is it worth the extra energy to try to convert them to see the value, or do you just go, bye-bye?
Right. What would you say your profit margin is on a $150 detail? Like how much are you spending in gas to get out there, materials, wax, clay bar, per car?
If it's gonna cost $150, you're probably at $140 in profit.
So
would that sound accurate? I mean,
I've got insurance and
yeah. I mean,
well, in Florida at the MTE, yeah, we actually did a whole analysis breakdown with the IDA, and it's actually about $3.05 a car at maximum if you're using everything correctly. And that's the average for detail with one-step polish.
So I'm just going to put in 95%.
That's the number people should write down.
Profit.
It's almost impossible to calculate.
Yeah, when you start factoring in
$3.06.
Yeah, that's
just the use of the car, the product on the car, right?
Product on the car without labor, because you don't really self-labor yourself. If you have employees, then you got to add $15 an hour.
Yeah, but then not only that, you got to factor in your insurance and then your gas.
Yeah, is that
I've
factor?
actually broken that down.
Have you?
Yeah, on my carpet cleaning business.
So, do you want to talk about that for a second?
Go for it.
You want to talk about that for a second?
Okay, so we had a job average of about 135 was our minimum to come out to clean is pretty much about 3 rooms and a hallway, just main traffic areas. Okay, so what we averaged was by the time we put in the truck mount running for an hour, that would burn 2 gallons an hour. So you factor how much that's $3 or 25 cents a gallon. Then also I always added another about $4 for tires, brakes, and then we average the insurances. So at the end of the month, I'd say, okay, the insurance cost us $150 for the month. So you divide that by that customer. So I've actually nut and crannied this because of Shark Tank,
Right.
just to see where my costs were. And so that 135 job wound up only being, profit wise, you probably see about $90 in profit on
Right.
that.
That was in the carpet cleaning.
That's per
business.
job. Yeah. Now, if you wound up with your hourly rate as well, it'd drop it. I was owner operator. So by the time we got the hourly rate and then also the work comp and all that, you're down to about $65. So you really have to really look at, because there was a guy that came to buy. We sell one of the waterless car washes in Pearl, and a guy came in and he started the business, and he's doing cars. They were doing cars for $15 washes, and I said, bro, you're actually losing $3 to $5 per car. You're giving
But
the
he'll make it up
customer
in volume.
$5. Yeah, you're giving the customer $5 to clean their car. And he just looked at me. I said, "Dude, you got it." And that's when we sat down and we broke this down.
Yeah.
I said, "You need to get your numbers up." So
If you're a mobile detailer, a good way to know, like factoring your gas and stuff, is just take what the IRS allows you for your write-off. The reason why they come up with that number is that's actually a really good number. So I don't remember what it is this year because I didn't.
52 cents a mile?
Is that what it is? 52.
Yeah, something like that.
I still haven't done my taxes yet. I filed my extension, but I haven't done them yet, so I couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, so if it's 52 cents a mile,
I
use
guess
that
would
as
be
your
a good
number.
exercise to do, but the point I was getting to is that it's pretty much all profit.
Yeah, no, I get it. In the detailing business, high profit margin, because really what they're paying for is you.
Right.
So what would you say would be the average number of referrals you get in a year?
You told me to be prepared for this.
I did, and I'm glad to see he listens to me.
Referrals would be not from advertising.
Not from advertising, not from Google AdWords. So a client referred in someone else.
I probably get 2 to 3 a month.
So if we say
24 to 36 a year.
Or we'll say 30 a year. And then what's your conversion ratio on referrals? What percentage of those are going to convert to a client?
High.
80?
Yeah, 80. I was going to say 80, 90%.
All right, we'll put 80. All right, so what we're going to look at here, and by the way, let me just borrow this real quick. In here on page 10. I don't know, maybe. On page 10, you got a little spreadsheet here that you guys can use for yourself to kind of calculate this stuff out. But here's what I want to show you. So if we're looking at this as just to give us an average overview of our numbers, a couple of things we're noticing here. So what I did is I just put in for Jimbo's current business, 100 clients he sees on average 3 times a year, $150 per time that he sees them. He's going to make about $45,000 from those core clients a year, and he's going to profit about $42,750. Does that make sense? Everyone with me? And if we look at, okay, well, what about other business, other leads, things like that? If he's getting about 130 leads a year, 50% of those close. He sees them an average of 3 times a year after that at $150 each. That's going to net him an extra $27,788 in profit. Does that make sense? Then we look at referrals. Okay, he's getting an average of 30 referrals a year. He closes about 80% of those, so that's another 24 clients, or another $10,000 a year in business. Does that make sense? Now here's the fun part, guys, when we start to do this stuff, and this is what we're going to be spending the rest of our day on. What if we just bumped up our referrals by 10%? So instead of getting 5 every week, I can't do 10% of 5, that's too hard. You could have said 10.
Change it.
That would be an extra 1 lead every like 5 days, right? Do you think you can get one extra lead every 5 days if you even took just what Jimbo and I talked about on the podcast and put it into play? Yeah. Pivoting.
You could get one extra lead a week by just asking your current customers.
Shh, don't give away my massive strategy.
Easy.
What if we
Pete's
could convert
massive strategy? Talk to your customers.
Ask them. Thanks for showing up today. There we go. Class complete. Conversion ratio. Let's say we bumped that up just another 10%. So nothing like rocket science here, and I'll show you how we can do that stuff throughout the day. What about number of transactions a year? What do you think it's possible if we went to some of our clients and said, hey, I've got a maintenance program, and here's the reason why you really want this. I'm going to come out to you. I'm going to work on your car, and we're going to look at this every month, and we're going to do a wash and a wax and a maintenance wash. So every 14 days, you're going to see me. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Do you think you could get any of your clients to say, yeah, I'd like you to do that because my car is always clean? See, here's one of the things about your guys' business that's really cool. Their car gets dirty a week later.
Sometimes less. You got your car done on Thursday, and there's
already bird poop on it. Yeah, ticks me off. And they never do the tires like you do. I know it's the acid thing.
Because you went to the car wash, Pete. Not a mobile
My detailer didn't call me.
He didn't follow up?
He didn't follow up, and he hasn't offered me a continuity program where I would
He
just...
hasn't. Hey, I'm not saying I'm learning too.
Yeah. But it would be pretty easy for us to bump up an average of 3 transactions to anything higher. So I'm just going to say we're going to bump that up just by 10%.
Hey, Pete, I got this new monthly maintenance program for my clients.
That's awesome.
Do you know anyone that would be interested in that?
No.
Trying to get my one referral.
Not
week,
from
Pete.
you. Now, what are some ways that we could bump up the average of $150 ticket? How could we raise that up?
Coatings, yeah.
Coatings, here's one of the things, though, that you got to be careful of. You also don't want to work yourself out of business. So, I mean...
Could we save that for later?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say this. Jimbo and I were looking at the numbers, and I'm like...
Because the thing that's lucrative about coatings is the profit potential.
It's the immediate profit potential.
Immediate profit potential.
You'll never see him again.
But then if I kill my client...
Exactly. That's true. So that's...
Less
and
of a
we could really, if you want to get into that, we could really get into that. Because that's where I've been struggling too. I'm like, well, great. It's, this average seems low. You're like $125 a client. Like, dude, that's nothing.
After what we went through, we're putting together consumer guides, which we'll tell you guys about later. And one of them was, we did one for pre-sale detail, how to detail your car, or not the consumer's guide to detailing your car.
What to look for in a detail.
What to look for in a detail. And I didn't know any of this stuff, right? So we're putting this stuff together, and my eyes are being open, and I'm like, looking at this industry, and I go, okay, I would never offer a sealant. I would never offer a coating. You're coming back to me every month.
Yeah. So, and I'm a believer in coatings, and I think coatings offer a great product, and I think there's great companies doing it. But as a business owner trying to be profitable, it's definitely something that you need to at least look at, and I would say offer it. Offer coating, because you're going to have that.
If they're gonna buy it from someone, they might as well buy it from you.
Exactly. So I think it's you need to offer it, and especially it's a higher level of detailing. I think coatings are going to become the clay bar. What the clay bar was, 10 years ago, where you guys know how it is. People call and go, "I want a clay bar. I got scratches," and you're like, "What?" Like, people are going to be like, "Hey, I want that coating." Right. So getting in now, where coatings are kind of just birthing, I guess. Is good, but it's definitely something to look at. That, like, even I'm like, $125. I feel kind of lame being like, well, my average ticket's $125 because it doesn't seem that much, but
how much time does it take you to do that?
About an hour. So that's something that we need to look at too, because as we talk about like the sexy part of detailing and then the profitable part of detailing, which you can also be profitable just doing correction and coatings. So don't feel like I know you're just doing like single cars at a time, high level stuff. You could be profitable doing that too. You have to look at every angle, because you got to know what angle you want to try to go for and then capitalize on that. So if it is correction and coatings, you got to go into it knowing that, hey, look, I'm not going to see these customers maybe only once a year. So what do I offer them once a year on their to maintain their coating. Because the point being, you just want to get the customers coming back, and as often as possible.
And that's a good. And it's a good. Like for me, it's and like I said, the
Go ahead and give him the mic so we can get it.
Oh, sorry. And that's the beauty about this business is there's so many different aspects. Like for me, if I coat a car and never see it again, I'm good. Because I just I don't whatever the ticket is, and then sometimes I offer them the maintenance, and then also I even put packages together. Here, let me show you how to maintain it. Boom, out the door, gone. But he's gonna tell somebody's gonna see the car, and then I'm gonna get another coating from it, so it doesn't hurt me. But it's the mentality I think that we have as detailers, people coming from all different places, and I think we talked about this about not having a business idea. The first thing they're thinking, I'm not gonna see this person. I can't wax their car anymore. I'm gonna lose the $50 or $100, but you just made $1,500. $2,000 or whatever if you don't see him again.
Yeah.
But it all depends on
You got it.
are
Yeah, and here's the thing: is there isn't a right way. You have to decide what kind of business do you want.
Exactly. He's been refraining from
Yeah.
talking, which I can.
So now the thing with coatings is if I'm going to sell a coating, I'll only sell it if I can pre-sell 2 years of maintenance packages for the coating because people don't understand, even though it's a permanent coating, it needs updates. And if they don't do that, then it looks bad on your brand. So I make them buy 2 years in advance, at least one detail each up front so that I can reapply the coating layer because no coating made today will last more than 3 years without reapplication. So
Do you get much pushback on that pre-sale?
if they do, I send them somewhere else unless I'm working with a dealership. I don't care. It's not worth my time. Because if you can't get that and get them through the door again, then they're going to screw it up themselves. Then I also sell them the Optimum No Rinse because that's one of the only things you can actually clean a coated car with right now because it doesn't have any wax or polymers. So if they put wax in it, then it actually won't work because it'll repel the little microparticles. It'll actually catch the dirt. Because I live up in Seattle, so like I do Ceramic Pro and it's okay, but there's some other stuff that works just as good. But like if you don't keep going with it and push it through, then people will think it's a one-time buy and they'll be pissed off at you. Then I've actually the first couple people I worked with up there, they wanted refunds because I didn't actually fall through like that. Then I was like, okay, change the whole business plan.
But brilliant. Essentially, what you're getting to, I think that's a brilliant plan. To offer the coating, but the maintenance part is the interesting part to me.
Well, and that's the piece that you want, right?
But that's a brilliant strategy.
Give the mic back to him real quick. I just want to ask you, what are you offering for the maintenance piece?
So for the maintenance piece, they have to buy 2 extra coatings of that ceramic.
Okay.
So when it comes in, we'll wipe it down, and then we'll recoat it. So for 2 years out, one at each interval.
Okay.
So if they get it in March, right, we'll say, okay, next June you have to come in and get this, or you don't get your money for it. So if they decide to push it off, and we say, okay, if they come a month later, we'll fit them in somehow. But
they're paying for that.
They're putting for it when I pay for the coating.
Okay.
So 50% deposit before, 50% after.
Okay.
And then that's it. Then you let them go. But odds are they're just going to call you to come and do the wipe downs anyways.
Okay.
So you just have to make sure that they know that it's not permanent. Even when we do boats and other things, it's a repellent just like sealants. Sealants I prefer over because they last for a year. But I tell them it only helps. You go through brown bear, it's screwed and you're done. So, but I send everyone through brown bear because I don't want to do maintenance washes. So, I'm just like, okay, yin and yang. Right. But they need to know that it's not permanent. Yeah. It's a permanent, but not really.
Yeah.
That gets into sorry, I just want to talk to the mic. I get lonely when I'm not behind a mic. That's a great point. Because I've been dealing with a couple customers that got their car coated that were sold on benefits of a coating, and this is kind of off topic, so I'll just mention this and we can keep going. But for all you that are looking to get into coatings, undersell the coating. And maybe that's not the best thing, but because, for example, this customer got sold on the coating as, hey, you could literally run your keys across the hood of your car and the coating will block it. And I said, did the guy selling you the coating do that to his car? He's like, no. I'm like, could the coating do that? Maybe. But you're selling, it just makes, in the mind of the customer, I think, it makes them feel like the coating is invincible and they could do anything to it. And then they run it through a car wash or pick up a dirty rag and whatever, and it messes up the coating. And they're like, well, wait, I thought I could do anything to this car. What the heck? So.
And that's why, especially with now that I'm doing Ceramic Pro, it's kind of the marketing is great, what they do and all that kind of stuff. But when I get the customer because you have to basically do the close, I go ground zero with them. And I was like, you know what? This is what is really going to happen. This is what really, and that's why I like to do the eval, because I like to talk to them face to face. And I said, yeah, I know you saw that on YouTube, but this is the deal right here. And then I let you know, and then if you still want to spend your money and do it, but the reality of it is I try to share that with them and let them know the reality of the coding of what they're getting.
And that's with any company, not just
All right, let's say, I'm just going to go through this so we can hurry up and take a break here. Let's say we bumped up our transactional value by 10% by, I don't know, offering to do headlight restoration.
Can't we just increase prices though, technically?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because if you're only going 10% on.
I'm just, whatever. We'll never get a break.
Yeah. I know, whatever. They're going to come in tomorrow morning like, you guys are still here?
I'm not raising the profit margin because we're already at a 95% profit margin, right? So we're just leaving that. But let's say we actually asked our clients for some referrals and we got an extra 3 a year, 1 a quarter. Even you could get 1 a quarter.
Doable.
And I'm not going to raise the close ratio on my referrals either because 80% is still pretty good. But here's the thing, what I want you guys to notice, that gives us a 59% increase in our profit just by taking up these areas by 10%. I'm not even looking at the referrals, just those 4 areas. We've increased our profit by 50% on the lead side. Does that make sense? So now we're looking at basically 95,000 right there, plus we've got our 13,000 right there, so we got a $110,000 business. It's not very difficult to reach that $100,000 mark.
And this is without doing coatings.
This is not doing coatings at all. But here's the thing, what's our average client worth to us? First of all, let's take a look at how many years, Jimbo, would you say your clients stick with you?
Well, 8 years, Pete. No, it seems to be like around 2 to 3 years. They get the itch to go somewhere else.
That means our business just on the lead side with referrals over the next 3 years, so we're just looking at basically this right here.
Does your clicker have a pointer?
Thanks.
Go.
Look at the big head on Jimbo.
Who's the marketing genius now, Pete?
That gives you $114,000 in future income on your business by keeping these clients happy. Right? That's what you really want to be focusing on. It's all too often we start thinking about, well, I just got to go out there and do a wash and a wax today and I got $150 in my pocket and I'm on my way. What's your business really worth? What's the future value of these clients? Because here's what I want you to start doing, okay? If we're only seeing clients 3 times a year at $150 each, that means our average lifetime or our average annual value of a client is $450. Does that make sense? What would you pay in advertising and whatever to get a client where you made $450 a year for an average of 3 years, or basically $1,500? What would you spend to get that kind of a client?
Up to $15.
$15? Yeah. Let's hope, right? At least.
$15 or $1,500? $15. Okay.
If you do that,
We had a question.
who would spend more than 15? How much would you spend?
Do you have a question, or are you just saying yes, you would respond?
I think I would go like 150 to 200.
All right, so let's just leave it at 150. Let's say you're willing to do, you're basically willing to do the first one free because you know you're going to pick up the next 3 years worth of business. In that scenario, if he were directly competing, if you guys were both directly competing against each other, you're going to beat him every time because you're willing to spend more than he is. If at $15 he goes, you know what, I'm out. Not running more Google ads, no more Facebook, no more nothing. And you're sitting there going, I don't care. I want the customer. Because we're not looking at just the initial sale. We're looking at, I want that customer, right? Most people are in business because they're going, I want to make a sale. I want you to be in business to make a customer, to make a client. Because a client keeps coming back to you over and over again. Does that make sense? So me personally, I would be willing to spend more than $15. I would probably spend, I'd at least spend 75, right? Because I want to at least make 75 on the first one.
But how do you know what how do you find how much you're willing to spend per customer? Because by doing this, and you know how much each
You
customer
know what you
costs
can.
you.
Yeah, you know what you know what your customers
Got
are
it.
worth to you.
Got it.
In this.
I'm just thinking because he said 15, he said 150, but how do you know? And you're like, well, he'd win all the time. But I'm thinking, well, how does he know that he's spending more?
Well, he doesn't know.
Okay, but
what's going to happen is he's going to go out of business because he's got all of his clients.
But for them listening, at least by.
I doubt anyone's even looked at it.
But it doesn't
in a
really
detailed
matter, right?
business.
Because it's kind of up to you.
Yeah.
Because you guys have to input your numbers to see what your average customer cost is, to see what the lifetime value of your customer is, and then you can, regardless of what your competition's spending, you can figure out how much you'd be willing to spend for a potential customer.
Here's the thing: if
right?
you don't know what your customers are worth to you, how can you ever know what you can spend on advertising? Because you have no idea. I don't know what the customer's worth to me. But it's not just that initial sale; it's what's the lifetime value of the customer. Now, if we were to take this up even higher, let's say we got them on a monthly maintenance plan.
Can you guys see the screen okay in the back? Would it help if I did the lights or anything? Not that I know how to do
So if we got them up to a monthly maintenance plan where we're seeing them every month, and we're doing a wash and we're doing a wash and a wax. We're taking that model, so we're not talking about coatings or anything like that. But we get them up to where we're seeing them every month, and we're making an average of 165. We're just going to say that's a month in this scenario. That right there is $161,000. And then you've also got your core business over here. So this is just new business, right? I mean, you're swimming in so much money, it's ridiculous.
And even if you took that, you're saying, well, maybe 165 a month is...
That would be high for that.
That would be high, but say it was even half.
Because for a wash and a wax, you're not... Like what we talked about...
You may get that, but I think we
had looked at...
we were a little bit lower.
We're just saying it's a car, it's not an SUV. And we're like, okay, I think it was, what was it, 75 for the wash and the wax, and
I think we were doing that.
35
like
for the
my
wash.
favorite to offer is like the wash clay wax, $99. You could get it done in under an hour. But yeah, I think we were a little bit higher on that.
We were a little bit higher
like
because we were looking at doing a
125.
wash. Basically, here's the thing. Their car gets dirty every week, and you have this thing called leakage in your business if you're doing this type of detailing. And what that means is anytime they either wash the car themselves, go to the car wash down the street like I did, you're losing business. And you're in danger of losing the client because someone else is servicing your vehicle, even if it's themselves. So you want to make them your client, and all the money they spend to update and upkeep that car, it's coming to you. You don't want them going anywhere else.
And this also doesn't include, hey, I went to the mountains and I got my driver's side mat all muddy. I mean, we're talking about literally the most basic. When you asked me to do this originally, it was like, okay, let's take the most basic, easy to sell services to a customer with a low dollar amount to the customer, because we know generally people are cheap. So this is like the most basic.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can't even say generally people are cheap. Like, I would go after the tech companies. I would go after people with egos, BMWs, Mercedes. I would not be going after the Ford Mustang sitting in the parking lot right now, which is mine.
Which is why, Pete, I
'Cause
didn't
I'm
offer you a
cheap.
maintenance plan.
No, you didn't offer me a maintenance plan. But you want, yeah, go ahead.
Now, when you're talking about all this stuff here, you get to a point where your company needs to be at a pretty large standard to be able to maintain those customers and clients if you're doing that many washes.
Yeah, which is why when we originally did it, we're like 75. If you have 75 customers paying you $110 a month, that's basically $81,000 a month.
No.
I'm sorry, 8,100.
For that break. Wow.
And there's your almost $100,000 a year, and that's just with 75. So that's the other thing too, is you don't need to have thousands of clients. You can pull this off with a relatively small amount.
And ideally, they're on a, like, which we'll probably get into later about how to manage those customers. So ideally, they're getting automatically charged to their card, so you can almost bank on that money. So then that helps you to scale your business to adequately serve your customers.
So here's the way you set that piece up. You go, here's the deal. We've got our maintenance plan right here. It's $110 a month, and that's going to include us coming out and doing a maintenance wash and then a maintenance wash and a wax. So basically every 14 days, you're going to see me out here. What we do for you when you're doing this is at the 6-month mark, we're going to come out and we're going to shampoo your floor mats for free. And then at the 1-year mark, we're also going to throw in a full detail and do the inside and the out, everything.
We're going to do half off that.
Or half off, whatever it is. And so now people are looking at that and they go, oh, well, that's cool. So I want to stay in this program because as long as I'm in this, I'm going to get this free stuff. It's the benefits, right? If you've ever...
Think, oh, I'm going to give away half off a full detail, but you're touching that car throughout the year. So you know that, yeah, you know.
It's clean, and you've also now turned that customer from being a $450 a year customer to $1,320 a year.
Yeah, right. Most importantly.
So I'm giving you half off, big deal.
Right.
You're now worth to me over the next 3 years, you're worth to me $4,500, not $1,500. Does that make sense? So your value to me is way more. If I got to give you half off, I'm going to give you half off all day long.
Is this making sense? Does anyone have a question about it?
And I'm going to tag your credit card on the 1st of every month before I've ever seen your car. Because if there's one thing people know about me, I get paid. You are going to pay me on the 1st of every month. And if you got to mess up your dates or whatever, I'm going to work with you. But otherwise, we have a scheduled time for me to come out there and see your car and do that stuff. Does that make sense? All right, let's take a break, and we'll come back and get more into this.